Hi Libra, welcome back to my channel. I am Mariana and I will do the vibes inside for you today. So I sit here and I have already shuffled your cards and laid out the cards and opened them, and well, while I was shuffling I couldn't seem to let the energy that I had from the Virgo reading, it kind of spilled in, and it's not to say that you're dealing with a Virgo, but it's the, well, maybe have a look at the Virgo reading if it makes sense. Maybe you have been dealing with a Virgo, or at least a Virgo energy. In the Virgo reading I spilled my coffee all over the table and the cards got wet and sucked by this coffee, and it was quite a mess. I had to break up the video and like really dry everything up, and it was a significant hit to the Virgo energy. And the Virgo energy is very it's very high octave, like it really wants something good and beautiful, right? Virgos can sometimes become uptight because they are very driven by these upper octaves always. It can even lead to perfectionism and all kinds of like extra checking, right? A very checked or controlled life somehow, because it has to like stay up on the highest octave somehow. I don't know if that at all makes sense for you, but I do have it here, like the energy of this, whatever happened to the card that was most damaged was an Ace of Raphael card, which is an Ace of Cups card, and well, at least it has to do with positive feelings and positive outlook, positive expectations. You could say being involved in positive emotional connections. That is what the Ace of Raphael in this particular deck. It's this deck here, and it got totally ruined. So somehow I had the feeling that something shook the Virgo energy. I want to say the Virgo energy in all of us. We do have Virgo somewhere. Maybe it's not personal planets. Maybe you don't even have it as a personal planet. Maybe it's an outer planet. Maybe it's even further out in the cosmos, right? Maybe you have to look for it, like in your chart, if it's not there. If you're curious, of course. Otherwise, just forget about it. The point is that it's the Virgo energy, I feel like, in all of us, actually, that somehow got a hit. And when that happens, it's like it takes the highest octave away, the biggest dream, right? It takes our trust in love and everything. I have my glass angel here, always with me, right? And today it came across as if she was ice and she was melting, you know, like the feeling that I trusted in the good, right? I trusted in maybe God and the bigger realm and the love that comes from that space. I trust in it when I look at the fields and the sun and everything. And something came in and kind of took that, right? It took this, the positive, the top positivity of life kind of disappeared. It's like I trusted in this angel but now it's melting for me. I can't uphold it anymore, right? Because, and it's so interesting with your cards here. It's like that kind of energy is kind of spilling into your reading somehow. Again, as I said, I don't know if you've been dealing with a Virgo, and this is not a Virgo reading, it is a Libra reading, but it's very strong here. It's very strong here, and the Virgo, we say, is the virgin, right? It's the one that wants to do everything right. That doesn't want that wants to be innocent. That wants to be perfect, right? That's why we have this octave, highest octave of everything, always staying up, you could say, up towards the highest, because we can say the highest octave of what? The highest octave of good. Whatever good is, right? You decide what good is for you, and I decide what good is for me. But in society, there has been a certain dogma that kind of represents this idea of what is good. It is good to, let's say, if you're again, all religion comes with a certain dogma. You have to pray so many times, you have to do this and that and this and that. The 10 Amendments, that if you stay inside that, you are good, like you are uplifted towards God, or the highest possible behavior. You know, but I just feel like it's almost like losing faith in that up there, right? Losing the faith in that it exists. You know, like if you lose a loved one, someone you love very dearly, maybe losing a child. I believe that for some parents, this can be the place where this can be a situation where you could lose faith. Yeah, that's it. It's the losing of faith. That's what I feel like what happened in the Virgo reading. It spilled all over, and it was a mess. And it felt like a heartbreak. Like it felt like, but I did everything right. I'm here as the Virgo, and I want to do my best. And it was so misunderstood or so rejected that it kind of broke the faith of the Virgo. And I think this is in all of us somehow. Like I think that the Virgo energy has been, because when you look at the front picture of these readings, right, you see this well, it is a circle-shaped form that kind of breaks, right? It explodes or breaks or is torn into pieces somehow. And during all of these readings, I feel like there's this theme, right? I choose the pictures up front, but I never know what the readings actually come with, right? I do these, the picture was chosen when I started the Aries reading, right? And the Aries reading talked about Kundalini. And that is definitely like a blow up, right? So there is something that is going on that kind of shakes us, that shakes something in us. And I still have this lingering feeling of losing faith, losing faith, right? Again, like the angel here, and I really have to show you these cards here. because they are so interesting. And how similar they are. Normally I say that I have an overall energy and a driver for something. But today I want to say they come across as your scales. They come across as your scales. Instead of like an overall energy and under. They are both. Let me show you here. This would be the overall energy. I have 5 of water here. 5 of water is a card of grieving. It's a sadness card. It's a sadness card. And why is she sad? The clarifier for this, look at this card. It's the 6th of the 6th chakra. Look at him, right? And then let me show you this one. Right? I can't make this up. Like it's a sadness, a grief that this was challenged, right? That this is a grieving, meaning that you've lost something. The cups are spilled here, as it did yesterday, right? It's spilled all over the place. Something that had to do with faith, I want to say, the trust in something. And I think we all have this. Like this is like almost a DNA thing, right? That somehow we all carry some kind of memory. If you have Virgo strong in your chart, you have this. I'm not saying that you do, Libra, but if you do, I think I'm reading for someone who does have this. The faith went away. The faith, the trust in good, or the trust in God, the trust in the angel. Maybe you lost an angel here. The feeling of an angel. The feeling that you lost the one person, or like maybe it was as a child, right? Maybe you lost sometimes children have what we call fantasy friends, right? Maybe you lost that one. This is what you lost. It has to do with the pineal gland. Also here, the 6th chakra. The 6th chakra is like the third eye, to see something else, to see beyond, to see what's on the other side, or see through the masks of something. Losing the ability because of some kind of disaster or some kind of, maybe you could say, let's say you have suffered a severe accident at some point. And because you did that, something happened here. It could be that it happened to you. Let's say you lost some of your physical abilities. Or maybe you were the only sole survivor of a car accident and your entire family got killed. Your husband, your children, and you're the only survivor here. And you're grieving because of them. But you're also grieving because the bigger good is lost, right? The bigger good is lost. The faith in the light, perhaps. The faith in the light. If it didn't quite like literally disappear, then it definitely got smaller. It got smaller. And this is a grieving card, right? So it talks about a grieving. I even want to say also how she it's like how it's almost like she's drifting through this water. But she has closed eyes here, like she's just flowing through it. Almost like she is unconscious. So this could be something that is, it's an overall energy here. So it's like it has come to the surface somehow for you. But she's drifting here, right? Like she's not, it reminds me of scenes in movies where someone falls in the water and they are kind of just floating there for a minute until they kind of wake up in the water and realize where they are, and then they try to swim to the surface, right? To get air again. To get air again. But this is like she's still there. Like she's still flowing in that space there. Whatever hit you somehow here, it kind of made you stop breathing. Like it stopped your breathing. Does that make sense? Or just breathing and participating in life got very difficult. Because every breath comes with a remembrance of a grief. Wow. Every breath comes with a remembrance of loss or grief here, right? Wow, that is that's torturing, isn't it? That every time you breathe, because you are alive here, you are alive, but you are kind of not, almost not wanting it. Maybe this was a period in your life. Maybe it's apparent right now that you kind of, if something has just happened, you know, being in that grieving phase of have lost something that feels like everything. Like, I believe for someone who is a great believer of God, losing faith is like, that's really, it's a very detrimental, destructive inner feeling of, but if I can't believe in God, or what do I have then, right? Then I'm, and it's like every time you would breathe, you would remember the loss. The loss of something significant here, right? The loss of something significant. Look at how he shines here. That's what I talk about when I say God, or the light, the uptake, that there's good in the world, that there are miracles, that miracles happen, that God's blessing, you know, that God can come in and like heal the world, or that's what I see him like. He is the savior, you know, like Jesus, or he comes across as, look at how glittery and light he is, and very bright and shining, and it's like losing the faith or the connection to something that is like this. So it's like grieving the loss of this one, right? This is grieving, right? And actually almost not wanting to participate in life, actually you would sink in, or as we sometimes see it in films, and well, you have maybe experienced it also, but this deep, maybe deep depression, where you lay in bed all day and you can't seem to get out. You're just totally and utterly heartbroken, right? Because you have lost this one. I want to say this one can represent, of course, as I said, the faith in God, the faith in Jesus, or any other deity that has this glow, that has this to it, right? It could be a fantasy friend as a child, whom you love dearly, right? They look like this for you, right? They are so beautiful and bright and light, and they only come in with good, right? They only come in with love here. The pineal gland is also, you could say, the connection to the upper realm, to your spirit guides, your ancestors, to God, to Jesus, to any, you can name anyone, any deity that you would like. But he looks and shines like this. This is the all-loving Father, you could say. Let's just, or Mother. And now someone is drilling in the building. I'm sorry. But I hope they stop, right? It's almost a bit like the last reading, right? With Virgo, that when I talk about something that is so bright and good like this, then suddenly something destructive comes in and kind of wants to interrupt everything, right? It wants to come in and take this away somehow. This beauty here. Because this is like the all overshining love of God, or the Father, right? The all-compassing love and goodness of the Father, the Creator, you would say, right? This can also, I want to say, could be a person that you love dearly. They looked and was like this for you. This could be embedded in a child, right? Children usually have this very pure and sparkling innocence, and a trust that overshines everything. They trust you no matter what you've done in your life. If you were their parent, they would just love you, right? Like that. It could, and that pureness, again, this Virgoin, virgin-like, innocent, naive light, you could say, that kind of light here, it has a certain charm, right? It has a certain beauty. And it gets lost when we get older, right? That we get more and more into other day life, and but when we are young, we have this, right? We come fresh from the source. We still remember this, right? So, and maybe that's what this talks about, the grieving that you lose, that it's lost somehow. that this glow somehow has disappeared, or it has disappeared. With the Virgo, it's like coming into a room, and normally you would be greeted with love and care and understanding, and you could share your beautiful love when you were that child, right? And you were greeted with it because they saw you like this. And now they're drilling again every time I show this card, right? Well, not every time, but they looked normally they saw you like this, right? For the Virgo, I really feel like that. It's like they normally could come in and just show their happiness and their joyful eyes, and normally they would get a hug, but they got rejected, right? And from that faith, from that, everything fell spilled, like it was all damaged somehow. That the glow here didn't remain, like the glow didn't remain the same. So this feels like losing the glow, maybe in someone else's eyes. I don't know, like not feeling as attractive anymore as you once did. It could be the feeling when a young child or a younger person loses their virginity. You know, like the purity would then disappear. They are no longer this one, right? They have stepped into another phase of their life, but somehow this one, who I'm reading for here, whatever they've lost here, is a grief. It's considered a grief. So, you know, well, or this could be the feeling of purity, right? Or being a good person, as I said. That something happened that changed that entirely. And this is what came after, right? A grief, whether it was unconsciously or known by you. I feel like because she's kind of flowing like this, it's almost like she has been like sleeping. Sedated, sleeping. And when I want to say sedated actually. And that's interesting because now I take up the other side of the scales, you could say, or the usually this is a driver card, right? So I say that something in you is kind of driving this one forward for you to see it and recognize it. And I think it is still, but let me explain a little bit about this one. This one is on the other side of the scales. So this one got, I almost want to say, drowning in the grief. Like she is drowning in her own sadness, and it puts her in some kind of bubble where she is not, you can't really access her. You can't really access her. It's almost like she is, as I said, depressed. Well, if you have a family member who's very depressed and in bed all day, they don't get up, they don't bathe, they don't eat. You can't access them, right? Like if this was your mother, for instance, and something happened that threw her into a state like this, because she lost something here. Again, as I said, the purity of a child, that which is her creation as a woman. And it's well known that women who lose their children or newborns could go into a state like that. That is too severe. It's too big of an overwhelm. So it could put someone in a state like that, where she is there, but she's not you can't access her, right? You can't really access her. Not all that she is. What you get is mostly this. You see this, you look at this, this is the only thing you see and get from her then. Right? It's like they are in a different bubble. They exist, but they are not, I want to say, alive. They're at least not alive in the world where you are. So if this is a part of you that somehow got, I feel like drowned, like she's drowning in her own grief here. What happened on the other side of the scale here was this. To survive something like that, we now have the 5 of air. This is the thing that balances something. So if a part of you is drowning, you must find a way to get up on the other side. Otherwise, you can't balance your life, right? So what did you do? You became something else happened here. The 5 of air would be, I see this card usually as someone who tries to look like the others. To look like the others. Maybe that's what happened, Libra. Maybe you found some kind of thing in you that could take over, right? You are an air sign, Libra, right? You created a mask. She is wearing a mask here. You created a mask where you are dancing here with the other doves. Again, I said there's this Virgoian. These are doves here. And doves for me, well, they represent peace, right? They represent good. They represent this whiteness, the light and everything. They represent this, well, you could say an upper octave of something. And it's like you wanted to fly with them, right? You wanted to somehow find a way to maybe uplift yourself somehow due to this other side of you or this person in your life that is like this. I feel I do read the vibes inside, so it can be an inner process, but it can also manifest on the outside, right? So you can have an inner process going on that manifests in, you see it around you somehow. You see it you see something happening with your friends and family or something. But you have it too, and I feel this is a thing that we are all like, that we all somehow mirror each other to a certain extent. But this is like putting on a mask of being okay, I want to say. Putting on a mask of being okay and flying with the others. In the high octave here. I still have that, like, it's almost like it talks to me, this Virgoian energy, right? It talks to me somehow. like getting on the horse again and just put on a happy smile, and then we continue, right? That a part of you, I don't know, maybe you have parts where, you know, when you are alone, maybe you grieve and you really feel this a lot. And then when you go to work, you show up like this. You put on a happy face and you go along with, you know, you chit chat and you sit there and participate, but it's a mask here because you feel like this. And this is overall energy, the first card I drew. So it is there. It is like it and maybe it's because this has gotten too much. This has not been looked at. Perhaps. It has not been faced. Maybe that's why it's here now. Again, this is usually a driver, as I said. It drives something forward. So maybe you have done this too much. Like this has become your norm almost, to be like this. But it means that this is now, you know, like you have two scales, right? And if this is only existing and the other one is kind of just drowned down here, you haven't really looked at it. You have not balanced. And these are 2 5 cards, right? And 5 is a terrible card. Neither of them are good. Both of them are terrible. Both of them are grieving and sadness and wearing a mask, pretending. It's deceit. I don't know if this is you, but it could be someone you're dealing with also, Libra, right? Who is in a lot of pain here. Like they have a lot of pain. They have lost something here. That was like this was the joy of their life, right? This was the like the uppermost beautiful. This is the highest octave. And they lost it. Like they lost that overshining love for someone, a person. It's also because there's a purity to this. Like there is a pure goodness here. Someone who, I want to say they could be all loving. Like this one could have done anything. Like it doesn't matter what they did. This one would love them anyway, you know? Like that kind of unconditional acceptance and love, and therefore they are ranking like this. That's why they rank as high as that. And without them, right? Without them, they feel like this, right? And that's what I feel like. Whether it's faith in God, it's a person they loved dearly. So it's the quality of this that is lost. The quality of this encompassing like unconditional love that they would normally give and share and send out, right? And this one would love that, right? They would love to be in that all-encompassing unconditional love. It could even be their own unconditional love that got, as I said with the Virgo energy, something came in. Something came just like that, and it spilled all over the place, and it mudded everything, right? It created a tremendous damage, and that damage took the faith, or took the unconditional love of a child, you know? They experience something that shocks them to their core. In this case, definitely to their core. I want to say this is like really very strong heartbreak. And after that, you cannot just say, oh, I'm ready again. Let's do the unconditional love again. Like that kind of shock is changing you, right? At the bottom of the deck, I have this new imprint, right? New blue imprint. Of course, it changed you. It changed you in some way. And it's because that, like the unconditional love you have for someone or they had for you, when that changes, it probably, it can come as a shock, right? It can come as like someone who would normally adore you and be devoted to you, that suddenly they're gone. Right? And you may think you've done something wrong. You may think that that you're the reason. It doesn't have to be, right? Things happen to other people as well. They could get stressed or depressed or anything. It doesn't have to have anything to do with you, right? But nonetheless, that is what you could be facing at the moment, right? That something was lost here. And this has come to the surface like a grief, right? Like a strong, and the reason why it's here, again, I want to say, I said that with the Cancerian energy, with the again, also with the Virgo energy, that it's here because it wants to heal. It's here because it wants to balance. That's why it's here. I think for all of the readings this time around, it's here because it wants to balance. So the wearing of a mask here, the happy face, like this is maybe how you survived, right? You survived by being this. You took on a mask and you moved on. Even though, and you tried to dance like the others here, but you are not like them, right? After what happened, you felt off. Of course you did, because somehow deep down you knew that you were not the same, right? You were not the same. They are not the same. And you could no longer, well, maybe you tried to dance with this person, right? But you saw them in a different light now. It could never be the same, right? If someone you normally trusted and had like great respect for, they suddenly, like hit you. Out of the blue, just hitting you. Being angry with you, and it kind of just shocks you. After that experience, you can't just go back and be happy, right? It's like it changed something. You're trying to dance with them here and fly with them, but everything changed after this. The clarifier for the Five of Air here is this card, the Six of Ariel. And look at what it talks about. Material needs get fulfilled in magical and unexpected ways. These are always very positive. Acts of kindness and giving and receiving with a grateful heart. So, these are always very positive, but with a Five of Air card, I cannot see it as positive. They don't go together. They always try to be positive, these ones, right? I feel like to balance out that enormous grief, you had to create a mask. And that mask has been what has been driving you forward from that day or from now. It's driving you forward because it, well, your days still changed, right? You couldn't stay in that drowning bubble. There were still requests. You should still go to school or work, or, you should get up and get moving, right? That is, maybe you were told to, forced to, I don't know. Or you decided that I pretend that nothing happened. I wipe off my tears, and then because, well, this has happened to others too, right? They have also lost their faith in something. They have also, like a priest that loses his faith. Well, he still has to go and do his thing. In the church. Like, that's his work, or that's what he is known for. So whatever you have been known for, there is still an expectancy that you do that. That you are still your jolly good self here, or you still operate from the highest octave here. That the things you say and speak, they still come from that place. But deep down, no, it's not real. It's a pretend. And the reason for that we have here. Now you suddenly have a focus not on the unconditional love, where everything, or the infinite supply of all good things. Now suddenly you enter into a lack mentality, where material needs becomes more of a primary orientation. You do the things you do here, hoping for some kind of kindness. There is a giving and a receiving, but it's not exactly real. It got you into a place of lack, I want to say, or into like the giving the giving and receiving is conditional now, not unconditional. The giving and receiving is conditional. So I give you something and you give me something, right? So now, before you were maybe this open, jolly self, and now you wanted to just share and give them, overshower someone with all your love. And they just gave nothing back. And that kind of shattered everything, right? It should be a natural, like, flowing process that just kind of keeps moving, right? But it kind of stopped. And it kind of shook you, right? Now it suddenly became dualistic. I give you something, you give me something. Because the trust, or the faith in the unconditional disappeared somehow. So the glow of someone, seeing someone like this, now became more of a dualistic, earthy experience here. They may still be a good person, right? Or this can be you, right? That maybe normally you had this glow, right? That you just wanted to overshower everybody with everything you had. But because of a grief here, your glow, and your unconditional way of being got less. There is still something here, but look at how the difference, right? That there is still a glow here, but it's not at all the same. It's not that lit up as this is. And it is interesting that on both sides we have 5 here, and then we have 6 here. The 6th chakra and the 6 of Ariel here. And what it left was a new imprint here. You got a new blue imprint. Here, or blueprint, because of this. But I feel like one of the things that I can say about this, 5 usually talks about change, dramatic change. So what I feel like is that, yeah, maybe you did put a mask on, maybe you did, pretend. But because you were able to do this, you can do it again. Like you can take the mask off here now, and you can let people know, right? You can be honest here about this. You can be honest about what it is that you have been carrying. Or you could be honest with yourself. The dramatic change can go the other way, right? Because you made yourself a new imprint once, you can do it again. You can change it from being in a more... Again, if you change this and you actually turn this around, that's what all kind of spiritual journeys is about. That you got yourself into some kind of mess, and now you're finding your way back to some kind of happiness, to the light again, right? You can find your way back to this again. But maybe you were a child once, right? And you didn't get help. Now you are an adult and you can seek help. You can be your own parent. You can do things that are changing this, so that you can actually have the positive effect of this card. The material needs get fulfilled in magical and unexpected ways. There are acts of kindness out of the blue. Not because you give something and they give something back. The giving and receiving comes with a grateful heart. And it becomes a more natural process that is actually, it was your blueprint. That was what you were born with, right? The beauty, right? You are the Venus sign, right? You are the all-encompassing goddess. And that kind of giving glow here is that kind of shine, right? It's beautiful and wonderful, but of course, yeah, it can be abused, taken for granted, not reciprocated. But it doesn't have to be your fault, right? People have their own stuff to deal with. And you can get it back. You can, as you did once, you created a new blueprint, but you can do it again. You just have to, you could say, not accept this existence, right? You have to not accept it to allow yourself to look at this. Understand her, right? Understand what was it she lost here. And knowing that it's like she's drowning, so it's underwater, it cannot be seen. It's not visible. The light gets drowned underwater. It can't shine like that, right? And therefore she comes across like this. It could be the feeling that you are less, I don't know, Libra usually, especially women, like they are like the broadest smiles and sexy and very, usually very in tune with their femininity, right? They are soft and they like the curves of a feminine or a woman, a Libra woman is usually very like sensual and sexual, and they like to look good, right? Dress well and everything, and maybe you are doing that, but the glow is little, right? The appeal, or because the faith in yourself, the faith in what you are, got something is dimming it, right? It's dimming that light. Wearing a mask is dimming it. The mask is like a protective shield, but it actually protects more, right? It protects so much that people can't even see your glow. And maybe you are protecting that glow. I don't know. You're wanting it to stay underwater, perhaps, because once it was abused, perhaps. Once it was abused, maybe, right? And because of that, you can't allow yourself to show that. If you show it, people would abuse it or take it or just take advantage of it. Or again, as I said, there is this purity, good kind-heartedness, an innocence, naivety maybe. It doesn't have to be, but the sparkle of this is so light. And every time we talk about light, we talk about love. It's a love energy, an energy that is like unconditional love. And who doesn't want to be in the presence of unconditional love? We all want that. But because if people see it, they will run towards you, right? Maybe someone, like they did that. They ran to you and you got sucked into something. Or you trusted it and then it got abused somehow, or taken for granted, or it's not that people can't reciprocate it in the manner that you give it, or you were giving it, right? They couldn't reciprocate it in the way you were giving it, and therefore you were wearing a mask. You had to hide it. It created a different blueprint, right? You couldn't be that open. It would something definitely shook you, or again the highest octave of something. And for you, Libra, it is this glow that you have, right? You have this, yeah. I read once in some kind of astrology book that the smile of a Libra is like the smile of an angel. There's this mother or fatherly kind of just peace and joy and love from a Libra, right? And if someone takes advantage of that or doesn't reciprocate it, or you send this out and what you get back is conditional, you may learn to be conditional also, and that is really not your imprint. And it's so sad that this world can't seem to accept that we all just stand in our original version. If we could all stand in our original version, And there would be this acceptance and tolerance, and not something about abusing or taking it or owning it or devouring it or something. That if we could all stand there, it would be definitely more raw, but definitely also more authentic. And if we could see each other's value for that, like see each other's beauty, that would be like really beautiful, I think. But I think my message here is, yeah, that something created a dramatic change. Maybe you feel like you are in a place where right now where dramatic change is happening because you need to face this, right? You're wondering if maybe this can come back, right? I think it's on your mind because you have both of them are present here. The life you live with the mask on, where you protect yourself, maybe like, again, look at the glow here of her. Like there is a glow, right? But it's nothing like this one. So there is a glow, right? There's something you're sending out here, but it could be like massively bigger, right? If you could be you and just stand there without anyone interrupting or like owning that big glow that you actually have, that this one is not supposed to be underwater drowning there, right? Yeah, when I look at the blue imprint card, the blue colors here definitely also tells me something about the air. Actually, also the third eye. I believe that you have all of it still. It's still there. But it's like it has been dropped deep down in the ocean, or deep inside you. Like it's somehow shielded, and she is made inactive, right? There's something here that is made inactive. And therefore the shine is not very big here. And maybe you have been doing that on purpose with the mask here, protecting yourself or covering something up so that people can't see, right? Because if they would come across this one, they would and actually see that in you. It would be like people find a golden treasure. They would hunt you, right? They could hunt you down for it. Because everybody wants that. Like the unconditional, bright, motherly love and, the all acceptance, the all giving and glow and everything. That's one part. It's one part of your scales, right? That you have one part like that. And then you also have the other. Because in this dualistic world, you have both. You need to have both. So it could be that there is an awareness that you have come to realize that you have both of these sides here. And how exactly to balance that, right? So that people see some of it, but they don't see too much, right? Because if they see too much, you will have these hordes running after you, wanting a piece of you, right? So you can't really stand in your original energy. That's what I feel like. I wanted to say that there is a lot of like sixth sense here, the third eye. We also see the activation is definitely here. You still have it, right? It's still there. You're still connecting with something here. But you have shoved it down somehow, or we could even see it like being covered, right? That there's a covering here around you. That kind of keeps, or you could say like walls here, that kind of keeps you a bit sheltered from like outside influence somehow. Maybe you're still doing it. Like maybe this is your awareness that you're looking at her, but you're protecting her, right? You're talking to her, healing her, but protecting her still. And so therefore you're still wearing the mask perhaps here still. But you have figured her out, that she's there. You know she's there. And this could be the new imprint, blue imprint could be that you actually want to reverse it, right? That you want to get her out again. You want to get her out. You just have to figure out how. And again, if I get her out, like in this third dimension, is this even safe? Like, is this, even if I got it out and I stood there with all my glory, would that be safe for me, right? Because you have, I feel like, realized at some earlier point that this was not safe for you. I just took another card here for the crystal key, for the blue imprint, and I get for the blue imprint here, I get the crystal key, which talks about hidden wisdom codes, potent information, Lemurian seed crystals, seeing your triggers as a gift, awareness of a drama creating patterns, healing the earth by looking at your inner environment, healing through awareness. Yeah, and looking through your inner awareness, you can't stop meeting this one, right? You will meet that one. And you will gain awareness. I think at one point you created an imprint. And now you're wondering if you can maybe balance it a little bit better here. It means that some of her, to get her to shine again like this and have faith here, she needs to heal here. To get some of the faith back, right? You need to get some of the faith back. So what the healing, the deeper information, the hidden wisdom lies with this one. But they need to talk here, right? She holds some of the keys and she is somehow damaged, right? She's in great grief here. Or at least sadness, like very core kind of sadness. I think a part of the sadness is because she can't stand like that. Like she would like to stand like that, or have this one around. If it's not another, if it's another energy here, you really want this back here. Can I have a card on the 6th chakra here? Who is this? So I have, so I get the 6 of Michael here for the 6 again here. 6 and 6 of Ariel, and of course I get a 6 card. And 6 is all about balance in tarot. Like it's balancing something that has been like really out of balance, of course. 6 of Michael talks about leaving tumultuous waters behind and getting to a calmer water. We see like there's a thunderstorm here, and then there's this clearer sky here where he wants to go there, right? And that could make sense that this one wants to come up from the stormy weather, from the drowning, right? That she wants to not drown, not be there anymore, and bring her to up and breathe again here. Bring her to see something else than this. That the sky, the sunlight, the flowers, I don't know, but something that is that could bring a little bit of this sparkle back here, right? That he represents the brighter day, the clearer sky, the end of the turmoil, I even want to say the end of the duality, right? Because here we do have both, right? We have like the thunderstorm, and then we have the clear, calm water in one card. Like we do have both here as well, right? That, and he represents, I want to say, the clearer sky. He's over here, right? He represents the clearer sky and the calmer waters, the peace. Love energy is also peaceful. It's calm. It's undramatic. Or unchaotic. We can even have that here, like peace and chaos, right? It's that the chaos is here. She is in chaos here, right? And she wants the peace back here. She wants to go here, right? Here. But the peace comes with her getting out of the turmoil, right? That she's in this turmoil here, drowning, right? And she wants to go here. That's what she wants. She's longing for that. Reminiscing, longing, grieving that it was gone somehow. But the idea of being gone is, again, please have a look at the Virgo reading, because in the Virgo reading we had the Time Master come up, and the Time Master is a card that says that it's never too late, right? It's never too late to, you would say, go back and fix something. It's never too late to think new again. It's never too late. And it's like we say that we can't teach a dog new tricks, but actually you can teach a dog new tricks if the dog wants to learn, right? If the dog wants to learn, you can teach it new tricks. We say that with age, people get stubborn. They don't want to change. They don't want to learn new. Why should they do that? It doesn't change anything anyway. But what if it did? Right? What if it did? What if you could have some of this back? It is the joy. It is the calm, the peace, the end of chaos, or at least the acceptance of something. Coming to the acceptance of something. And the acceptance itself gives you a little more peace. I don't know if you have been dealing with a Virgo, but there's this, at least the Virgo energy, the idea of the biggest, most beautiful, peaceful, loving, embracing, giving, I don't know, father, mother, lover, the innocence, the purity in something, the purity in a relationship, and then realizing it's gone, right? That the purity of the relationship ended when they left or died, or and I can't seem to find anyone else like that. There's no one else like that. No one will ever treat me like that, right? Again. So I stand like this, and I'm actually scared to really show myself, because if I show myself, I need to reveal that I'm actually grieving. This could be someone on the dating scene, right? That they go out again, but they haven't resolved an old issue, right? They haven't actually recovered from something. And when you start to recover, you can't not look at this. Like, to be real about something, you can't not look at that. It's necessary to look at it. And realize that in this world we live in the third dimension, you have the duality here. You have both sides. That because you meet someone and you fall in love with them doesn't mean that it's unconditional love here. In the upper octave realm, possibly it is, but we are not there. And one of the things you are learning here is, how do I deal with that? And one of the things you've learned until now is to hide, or to put on a mask and look as everything is peachy here. But it takes some of your glow away and your joy in life, right? I believe that some of the ways where, or some places where more of this unconditional love exists is with animals. Animals have a different way. For instance, a dog. A dog is loyal to the, like, if you treat it fairly, it will be loyal to you always. Like, it actually, you would say, it would give you more of this, right? Because it doesn't know anything. That's how it's created. It's their energy. They are like that. They are a follower. They need to be part of the group. Of course, there are dogs that are more wild and aggressive and so on, but usually you find more, or at least a lot of devotion from a dog also. So if you feel like you can't have it from a person, well, maybe you should try a dog then, or at least try to be around them. Find a way to be around them, right? Because they would give that. They would, if they can feel that you would be open to them and like them, they would be open to you. Like that. That's just how it is. And that could be one way of getting a little bit of this back, right? That something or someone out there is actually able to, and dogs also have a very incredible way of knowing if you're sad, for instance, right? They would, and they would empathically kind of tune to you. Like, if they really love you, they would tune to you, right? They would understand. Yeah. That's what I think I have here for you, Libra. somehow I feel like it could of course feel a bit like a personal reading if you literally have these energies in your life, but otherwise I feel like it's a general thing that we somehow all carry some of this. We all carry some of these pains, some of these sufferings. At least I recognize some of this, right? The Virgo reading, well, yes, I do recognize something. And I think most people do. Like so I'm really not sure that this is a general reading. It could be a collective reading, but it could also be very personal to you. That you lost someone very dearly. You can pinpoint exactly when it happened, when everything changed, and how you put the mask on and decided, I'm just going to look as nothing happened, or I'm good, I'm okay, I'm finding my grounds again. But actually you're not. You know, if you identify with that reading, it's of course it's for you. But otherwise I feel like I think that many can actually relate to this, that we have all at some point experienced something particular, and because of that it made us a bit protective, like it wasn't the same after, right? That's what I feel like. And the key to healing here, you can't kind of override this one. You have to look at her and get her up breathing again here. Right? That's what I have. Libra, I hope this helped. I tried to do shorter readings, but well, 1 hour and 22 minutes. It's not my thing, but I hope you're still here with me. Give it a thumbs up if you resonated with it, and I wish you the very, very best here on your balancing act here, Libra, because this is what you are for all of us. You are the balancer here. You do have the scales. It's very, very obvious with you. I wish you the very best out there. Love and light to you all, Libra. Bye-bye.